We bring the month of July to a close, the month where we started the Marriage and More series. We've covered a lot of topics this month, but we're closing the month of July with a new segment of my Darling Bride podcast that is called Hot Takes and Heart Checks. Hot Takes and Heart Checks. That is what we're going to be talking about on today. Welcome back to my Darling Bride podcast, powered by Refuge and Fortress Network. My name is Yemi Emmanuel Ludownsi. I go by PY.
And I'm Lonnie O.
On this podcast, we dig, we discover, we deploy biblical gems for the building or rebuilding of kingdom homes and relationships.
Yes, we are on a mission to equip couples on how to build on a rock solid foundation, cultivate a culture of respect and honor, invest intentionally and consistently in your relationship or your marriage, defend your union, and lastly, empower one another towards purpose fulfillment.
And like we always say, this is where love meets legacy, but more than that, this is where real love meets real talk.
Yes.
So, hot takes and heart checks.
Yes.
Hot takes and heart checks.
So essentially, we're diving into some spicy questions that couples don't necessarily agree on. You know, we're testing our heart on some of this thing, testing our perspective.
Hot takes, hot questions.
Yes, some hot questions. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to see where we stand when it comes to these questions and, you know, try to just give you a little some today. Yep. All right, so I'll just start with the first question. The first one, that's always spicy.
Okay.
Should your spouse be your everything? Meaning your best friend, your business partner, your accountability partner, your lover, your prayer partner. Should your spouse be your everything? And let me explain further, right?
Yes.
Because some people are always saying, like, you know, you can't put everything in one person. You can't depend too much on one. Don't be codependent, right? Don't just, you know, have a little bit of independence. Have a little bit of something to yourself. So the question is really just saying, should your partner be your everything? Like, should you put all your eggs in one basket?
Well, it's not about putting your eggs in one basket. Let's just start there, right?
Yes, put all your eggs in your spouse.
I understand the question. I understand the sentiment behind the question. But the answer I'm saying is not necessarily when you are dependent on your spouse, for example, right?
Okay, you're explaining.
It's not right.
Okay, I got you.
It's not about the fact that you are putting your egg in one basket. That statement is a little off because you did, in fact, marry this person. That is putting your egg in one basket.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like you've got this man for this one and you've got this other person for that thing. And then you've got, no, it's not that. So that's number one. Number two, as far as should you depend on your spouse for everything?
Should they be your everything?
Or should your spouse be your everything?
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is nobody can really be your everything. The only person that can be your everything is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior himself.
So you just took it to church.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only person that can really be your everything.
Okay.
And there is an unhealthy mental space there when your spouse is literally your everything. Your spouse cannot be your everything. Your spouse is meant to complete you. That means there's something they have that you don't have. There's something you have that they don't have. If they are your everything, then you don't have much of anything. All you are is them. Does that make sense? I see
the angle you
see what I'm saying? Okay. That means I can't move. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't eat by myself. Right. I need my spouse to do this and help me with this and kind of decide my life for me.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so that essentially says you're not you. You are essentially you are all of him or her. If that makes sense.
Okay.
But when your spouse is not your everything, there's something you bring to the table that is valuable. There is something your spouse brings to the table that is valuable. And now we have a a dependency on one another that works for each other.
Okay.
It's not does that make sense? It's not a
Yeah.
kind of dependency that turns the other person powerless or useless, if I could use that word, right? Where you can't do nothing
Okay.
by yourself or for
That's
yourself.
interesting because I feel like you took that question to a different part, right? Because the way I understood it was different, right?
Okay.
And that's interesting that you brought that up because you focused on the couple as an individual, as a couple, right? That was the focus because if they're your everything, then what do you bring to the table? What are they getting from you if you're getting everything from them? But I was also looking at the question like, some people will be like, well, my spouse is my best friend. That's who I talk to. I don't talk to anybody else outside. So I was thinking they meant, is your spouse your everything, meaning like you don't have anybody else that does these things for you. It's your spouse that's that thing for you in everything. It's your business partner, it's your best friend, is your diary. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's like in every situation, the first person you run to is your spouse.
Yes. I mean,
you see how it's different
no,
from
I understand what you're saying, right? But that's the thing, right? What I'm trying to really paint is that your spouse, in all honesty, cannot be your everything.
Okay.
It is unhealthy if that's the case. You've got to have friends. Yeah, I'm your best friend, but you have to have friends. You have to have people you talk to.
Right. Exactly.
You have to have people you kiki with and
Yeah.
because there are conversations that if you brought to me, I'm
You
looking
probably
at you
not
like,
gonna understand. Exactly.
like for example, you're watching a show right now called Hunting Wives. Like, I don't have a problem with you watching that, but if you try to have a conversation with me
right
about hunting wives, I'm
what
you know what I mean? Where we going with this, right? And
Right.
but you need somebody to be able to gist with, to have that conversation with. And I'm not
Yeah.
that guy,
Yeah.
right? So you gotta have a sister, a friend, a cousin, a co-worker, somebody that you talk about things like that
Yeah.
with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, does that mean we're not friends? No, we're
Right.
very much friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
There are other ways that we're friends, but I'm not the only friend you have.
Exactly. Yes.
You
That's
know,
spot on.
I'm
I
not
like
the
how you answer that.
only
Yeah.
I mean, I should be your only confidant, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have your parents, you have your spiritual fathers, you have your spiritual mothers.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? Like, because again, like I said, if I'm the only thing to you in everything, it's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
God forbid what happens if I'm not around. What are you gonna do?
Right.
You know what I mean? You've got to be able to, and this is something that I would say to every spouse, especially men. We've got to learn to empower our women to be able to stand on their own 2 feet by themselves. It's good that we are needed, but it's better when we're not needed.
Yeah.
I don't.
I get it.
You understand what I just said, right?
I get
And
it.
I'm not saying we're not needed. We
Right.
are, but I'm saying
You have somebody that can stand
you know what I
on their
mean?
own.
I
Yeah.
want to empower you as much as I possibly can, so that if for whatever reason I'm not around, I travel, I'm speaking at this
Exactly.
location or whatever the case may
Exactly.
be, things can keep running without interference
Yeah.
because you have been empowered to handle things on your own.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
All right.
And I mean, I kind of agree with you on that last part too. Like, it starts to reach a level of unhealthy
Yes.
when that's the case. You should have friends. You should have people you could talk to. I mean, I have friends that talk about mom stuff and mother stuff and all that kind of things. And it's like I could talk to you about it to some extent, but to some extent, I can't really talk to you much because you can't really relate. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you need to have other people in your life that could represent a different aspect for you that's not your spouse.
And we've seen this episode is not meant to be long, so we're trying to really
yes, because we got 4 more questions.
and we've seen situations where relationships where they were very dependent on each other, especially the girlfriend, and it became a thing where the boyfriend could not go anywhere. He had to check in because if he didn't, like 30 minutes has gone by, I haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
She would literally start freaking out.
Yeah.
She would start crying, and you would wonder, hey, why are you crying? I haven't heard from my boyfriend in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes. Whoa. You know what I mean? And it's that kind of thing where it's become such a thing that I feel like if anything was to happen to that guy, she would be completely lost.
Yeah.
The whole entire world will be shattered.
Yeah.
Because she has grown so dependent on this guy that he has become her lifeline.
It's unhealthy. Yeah.
That's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy.
The only person that should occupy that space in your life is Jesus. Is God.
Yeah.
Simple. Period.
100%. Okay. Next question. Does every disagreement need to be resolved, or can some things just be left alone? Should you resolve every argument, every disagreement, every whatever? I like how they use the term disagreement. Should every disagreement be resolved, or can some things be left alone?
Let me defer that question back to you. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Okay. I think in some cases, some things can be left alone. The reason why I said that, that's why I said I like the fact that they use the term disagreement, because sometimes it's never that deep. It could be something light that's never that serious. That's like there needs to be a resolution for it. So I feel like sometimes it depends on the situation. Some things can be left alone, where it's not even like, oh, you're sweeping it under the rug. It's just not worth picking at it. You understand what I'm saying? There's some disagreements that need to be resolved. Those ones that shake the relationship and shake the marriage. But there's some minute things that I feel like doesn't need to be picked at. Sometimes it can just be left alone and moved on from. So
the Bible says that wisdom builds a house, and by understanding it is established. The longer you're married for, the more you realize there are some fights worth fighting, and some you just leave it alone. That's wisdom.
Right.
If you are always wanting to tackle and address and address every issue and looking for agreement where there isn't, you're going to be frustrated.
Yes.
You and your spouse your spouse didn't come to your life so that they can agree with you on everything. Matter of fact, you need somebody that would disagree with you sometimes, because you don't have all the answers. And you don't always have the right answers. And you need somebody to kind of question or disagree, or put you in a position where you have to explain yourself.
Right.
And make it,
rethink
or re-examine. Exactly. So to think that you would resolve every disagreement, you would be lying to yourself. You would be setting yourself up for frustration. And that's an important question, because I used to tell my wife, just because we disagree on a matter does not mean we have to be divided on the matter. Does that make sense? We can disagree without being divided. Right? So we can have a conversation about something, and whether or not we agree on that matter is a completely different conversation. Now, it doesn't mean it leads to a fight where we go our separate ways. And I don't talk to you for days, you don't talk to me for days, because we disagree on one matter. Sure, we don't agree. Okay, put that to the side. Let's get back to where we were. So what was I talking about? What were we discussing, right? Even today, we had a disagreement on the matter, right? It was via text message, right? And, I was saying some things. She was saying whatever she had to say. And then she read my text message as though I had gotten upset.
Yes.
And I did. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I didn't move on from that conversation.
It personal.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I moved on from that conversation. So where are we on this matter, on that matter, right? Because I have that understanding. Disagreement does not have to lead to division. And that is something a lot of couples need to embrace and learn. Just because I don't agree with who you want to vote for, right, as the president, does not mean we are divided. I could be Republican. My wife could be Democrat. Does that bring division to the home? No, it shouldn't. Right? I could like a football team. My wife could like something else. Should that bring division to the home? No, it shouldn't. I could like fish. She likes meat. We don't agree on our source of protein. Again, does that bring division to the house? No. Of course, there are certain things, like you said, certain things that we have to agree on. Like our faith, for example, how we're raising our children, for example, how we're managing money, for example. These are things that we must be on agreement with. Otherwise, it's going to lead to division.
Things,
it is going to lead to division, right? But there are things that there are disagreements that we can leave alone and fight another day.
Right.
How did I end that conversation with my wife? I told her, I said, listen, I realized revelation takes you some time to catch on to. So what am I going to do? I'm going to leave it alone and wait for you to meet me where I'm at. Because I'm trying to bring you to a level of revelation and insight, but you ain't there yet. And it will take you some time. And I get that, because this is not our first rodeo. Again, wisdom builds, understanding establishes.
Exactly.
When you understand each other, you know how to move, what to leave alone, and what to execute immediately. Move to Texas. Babe, let's get up and move to Texas. Nah, I can't do it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, no problem. But I will agree with you to move, just not as far as Texas.
Right.
Okay, no problem. Where you willing to move to? Move to Maryland. Stayed in Maryland for about 1.5 years. I was already getting comfortable with Maryland. And then she wakes up one day, you know what? You were right. The Lord did send us to Texas. Let's go. I'm okay. But that's the understanding, right? That 1.5 year gap is the place where our disagreements did not lead to division. Just because I'm answering the call of God on my life does not mean it needs to break my family apart.
Or your home,
you follow what I'm saying?
That's not what God called
you follow what I'm saying? My first ministry is still to my family before it is to anybody else. And so if I don't get that right, forget about getting anything else right. That's the mistake the fathers of old made. We're not going to make the same mistake, right? They're powerful out there, but their kids don't know nothing about them, right? They don't have any relationship with their wives. That's not the case. Your family is your first ministry.
And I think that's what people need to understand. We need to respect the fact that you're not always going to agree on things. Yes, there are things that are important.
Can I say this? Say it like this. You're not always going to be on the same page. We're in the same book. We're reading the same thing.
Exactly.
But we're not. I'm reading the Bible right now. I'm books ahead of my wife. Right? But she's reading. Right? It may take us some time to get to where I'm at now, but we don't have to be on the same page to be reading the same book.
And that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to. People get in their own minds and in their own self thinking everything has to be perfect. Everything has to just align. But that's not the case. And just because you're not on the same page or in the same chapter in the Bible doesn't mean you're not reading the same book. It doesn't mean you're not on the same journey. It just means you're not in the same place right now. And that's okay. As long as you guys understand each other and you're still going towards the same goal, that's really what matters. You know, the disagreement we had today, we didn't resolve it. We just moved on from it. But it's not, like you said, it's not to cause divide. It's not to then start arguing. It's not to now, okay, all of a sudden we're not talking to each other. No, moved on and continued. Like, I mean, we're here talking to you guys right now. You know, on a different time. Maybe back in the day, we probably wouldn't even record or have this discussion anymore because we've let it affect this. But with time, maturity, and growth and understanding, and with God, you tend to understand, okay, there's some things you don't have to let, get to the point where it starts causing divide. You can just leave it. You can just move on. You could come back to it later or whatever the case may be. I just feel like people need to get out of their heads. Just get out of yourself for a second and just understand the person next to you might not always agree with you, and that's okay.
Disagreement does not always have to lead to division.
Divide. Yes, I like that. Okay, next question, because we gotta go. Is it okay? This is always a good one. I feel like everybody's always, talking about this one. Is it okay to have a close friend of the opposite sex while married?
Ooh,
I feel like we've addressed this a lot of times in our podcast too.
You gotta define close friend. What does that mean?
It could be a best friend, somebody you talk to on a consistent basis.
Best friend?
Yes, a close. The key word being close.
What is close? You gotta define.
You hang out with this person. You talk to this person on a consistent basis. Like, this is your bud. This is your bud.
Oh no, they can't be your bud.
They can't be your bud.
No. Again, that's what I'm saying. What is close, right? What is close, right? And what makes us close? Close friends.
What is what definition of close will have you be like no? What definition of close will I be like, yeah, that's fine?
Like, for example, right? Look at David Shands. And I forgot her name. He has a co-host.
Co-host, okay.
A woman. They both host their podcast together, right? By the virtue of their business, this podcast that they host together, they're close friends. But they're
they're co-workers.
Exactly.
So they're not close friends.
No, they are.
You don't know what their relationship is outside of the camera.
That's what I'm saying. Even outside of the camera, they're friends. She's close to his wife and things like that. You follow what I'm saying? By virtue of their job, they have to be close.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's a different conversation though when you say best friend of the opposite sex, right? Because then that means we're buddies. We talk all the time. We hang out. We confide in each other. We gist. I mean, we have a bond. You know what I'm saying? Of the opposite sex? No, could it work? No.
Could it work?
No.
My answer is no as well.
Yeah.
I just feel
I mean, I would just get up and walk away if you said yes. On that one, there will be division.
You would walk away as in you would leave my podcast.
I'm joking.
As in it would not. No, it's a no for me. Like I can't and listen, a lot of times people look at it on one perspective. Like sometimes females will look at it and be like, well, why can't I have a best friend that's a guy? We're just friends. There's no this, there's no that. But then when the shoe flips and it's on the other side, we got a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? I would never be okay with you having a best friend that's a female.
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes human beings, there's always a blur line when it comes to that. And it's not to say I don't trust you or I just feel like, I don't trust you to have a close friend. No, you've had close friends before that were females, but here's what happened. They became my friend too. It's not just one-sided. I feel like people need to understand that. I have no reason. If we're cool friends, we're friends together with this person. If you talking to that person, what's she telling us? Like kind of conversation, honestly, because it's like there's no reason why she's texting you at 12 in the middle of the night, and it's like what's she telling us at 12 midnight? She's not gonna sleep, like, or vice versa. Like I just feel like sometimes that when you have a best friend, a really close friend as of the opposite sex, because of the relationship you have with somebody that you consider a close and best friend, there tends to be blur lines when it comes to boundaries.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's usually what causes rift in relationship and in whatever the case may be. So I don't believe in best friends that are opposite sex. And even for me, like I'm not comfortable having a guy as a best friend. I just don't see what purpose. Like I feel like we can be cool, but we're not gonna be chatting it up. What are we talking about that you're not talking about with my husband? Like I just don't see myself in that situation. So I just feel like because of that boundary, it's a no for me.
And let me tell you right now, man. First of all, this takes maturity to understand. And many times it's usually those who are married that do understand this.
Right.
Single people are like, oh,
there's nothing wrong with that. Wait till you get married,
right? And then again, there's that blurriness of the boundaries where best friends don't know their place.
Yeah.
You are a best friend, buddy. You're not her husband.
Yeah.
You're not her confidant.
Yeah.
You're not her. Some people take it way too far. Way too far.
Yeah.
And you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
You got to be careful, right? I mean,
I'm saying
when situations like that happen, it's how you have CEO of
Coldplay concert.
No,
because I just feel like because you're that close, you've gotten so comfortable with each other that it blurs line with people that are in a relationship, if that makes sense, where you start to treat each other. You're not in a relationship, but you act like you are.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
we're out in a gathering
Mhm.
and it's like, what you want to eat? I'll
Mhm.
get you a drink. I'll get
Mhm.
you. No,
Yeah.
I'll get my husband a drink.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll get him a food.
And
You know what
because
I'm
he's your
saying? And
best friend,
because
you
your best
know
friend,
his favorite food. You know his
it's
favorite
not a thing
colors.
because
Yeah.
you don't see anything wrong.
Mhm.
What's wrong with that?
Mhm.
What's wrong with that is it's not your place.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer of that. So I
Yeah.
just feel like that boundary is very hard to really like clear it up.
Mhm.
So because of that, it's
Mhm.
like, what do you need? What exactly do you need a best friend
Yeah.
that's an
Yeah.
opposite sex for?
And let me tell you something, man. It's caused a lot of
A lot.
divide,
Divide and
a
break.
lot of frustration, a lot of unnecessary bad blood in many marriages when they have this opposite sex
Yeah.
best friends, where you have an issue with your husband and you're calling your guy best friend.
Yeah.
You have an issue with your wife, you're calling your girl best friend.
Yeah.
And then she says something that she thinks you want to hear.
Yeah.
Mind you, she don't live with you.
Mm-hmm.
But because you heard what she said, you're like, man, you know what? I probably should be married to you. And then you realize this is the mistake that a lot of people make. The reason why they're your best friend and not your wife or your husband is because they cannot handle you as a spouse.
Outside of that, yeah.
Oh, we can be friends all day
Mhm.
long, but can we
Mhm.
be spouses?
Yeah.
I mean, as a friend, I can get up and walk away.
Yeah.
I can go home. I don't have to
You don't
always
have to
deal
deal
with you.
with it. Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we can always have good times and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But can we live together day in, day out, every day? Can we tolerate each other? Can we get on each other's nerve
Yeah.
and still stay together?
Yeah.
Right? That's when it gets really, really serious now, you know? So
And I feel like people need to
without trying to hammer it too much.
people also think there's some people that will disagree and be like, oh well, they've seen relationships or couples that have opposite sex and it's worked.
Yeah.
What you would see if there's no issue in that relationship, what you will find, I guarantee you, 99.9% of the time, the reason why that issue hasn't worked, that thing hasn't become an issue, is because that friend became friends with both parties.
Yep.
That's the only, I'm telling you, you have a guy best friend or you have a female best friend. If they don't get into a relationship with your spouse and actually have some kind of friendship with them.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
All right, let's go. The next one. Can you truly submit to someone you don't fully trust? Can you truly submit to somebody you don't fully trust? Talking about submission beyond the surface level. You don't trust this person, to some extent, you're always, on guard. You can't really put your all in this person. Can you truly submit to the person?
What is submission? Submission is following somebody sometimes blindly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what submission is.
Mm-hmm.
So if your eyes are closed and you're following somebody in the spirit of submission, you better trust that they're not going to lead you astray. They're not going to lead you into a pit or a trap. That's what submission is, right? So can you fully trust somebody? Fully being the key word now.
Yeah.
Can you fully trust somebody? Can you fully submit, rather, if you don't trust them? No. You can't.
Simple.
You can submit.
Yeah.
But fully submit is a
Yeah.
completely different conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of people submit. A lot of wives submit. A lot of men submit to leadership. A lot of people submit to something or another.
Without fully trusting.
But it's not full submission because trust is lacking.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why we're able to submit to God as children of God is because we trust him with our lives. We trust him so much that if he says to go into the wilderness, we can say, because God said it, I'm going.
Yep.
Why? I trust him to
I
make a way where there seems to be no way.
Exactly.
I trust that he is a good father The Bible, Jesus was talking, he said, you being wicked, it says, ask your father anything in heaven and he will do it for you. He says, if you being wicked, when your child asks you for bread, you don't give them a stone, and you're evil, by the way.
Yeah.
How much more your father who is good? So in other words, if you ask God for bread, he's going to give you double bread because he's a good father. That's what Jesus was trying to say, right? Yeah. So when you have that trust that he's a good father, you know the thoughts he has for you are of good and not of evil, to give you hope and an expected end, right? You know that he's a way maker, a promise-keeping God. You know that he can make a way out of nowhere, water in the deserts, way in the wilderness. You know the nature of God. It makes it easy to trust him. And by extension, submit fully to him. The problem is when we don't submit to God fully, is we're saying we don't trust him fully.
Absolutely.
Chicken.
So there's no submission without trust.
There's no full submission.
There's no full submission.
There's partial submission. Let's make allowance for partial submission.
Okay.
You can have partial submission.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying? It happens a lot in marriages.
Yeah.
Wives have partial submission.
Dutiful
submission. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You ask a woman, "Oh, are you a submissive wife?" She's like, "Well, yeah, absolutely. If I couldn't, I can't marry somebody I don't submit to." Oh yeah, but do you submit fully? Fully? Do you trust the leadership of this person? And that's another thing for men. It's easier for your wife to submit.
Yes.
When they see who you are submitted to. You see, it's easier for us to submit to a leader, a spiritual father, a spiritual mother, when we see who they are submitted to. One of the reasons why it's hard to submit to somebody sometimes is because their submission is so widely spread. You don't know who you're getting per time.
Yeah.
You follow? Does that make sense? What I just said?
Yeah, it does.
Right. So you could have a man. Let me just use an example. A man, for example, who is submitted to one pastor in Nigeria, another pastor in America, another one in London, another one in Germany. And these pastors don't have much of anything in common. They don't preach the word of faith. They don't preach the word of grace. They don't preach the word of prosperity or holiness. I mean, one is holiness, another one is faith, another one is this, another one is that. So they have diverse theology as far as their approach and relationship with the word of God. And these are the people that are feeding your husband. Oh.
So which one are you following?
That can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because when he says, let's do this, you don't know if it's his word of faith mentor speaking at that point. You follow what I'm saying? It's easier when your spouse, the people that are following you, know what you're all about. I'm all about Jesus. I'm all about believing, beholding, becoming.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. So anything outside of that, I don't really like. I'm not going to sit here and argue theology with you. I'm not a theologian. You sure me? Yeah. I'm not carrying the Bible to look at the history of the Bible. So when I come to you, I'm not coming to you with theology. I'm coming to you with theodo, right? With God, but not the study of God.
Study of God.
Not in the sense of the theologians, at least, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the theologians amongst us. That's the academia amongst us, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't read the Bible for academy. I don't read the Bible for history. I'm reading the Bible for revelation, and that's about it. I'm reading the Bible because it points to one person, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so that's the lineage that I come from. Everything that I listen to, every pastor that I follow comes from that same lineage. Nothing else, nothing more. You follow what I'm saying? So it's easier for you to trust when I talk to you about grace, when I talk to you about Jesus, when I talk to you about the Bible from the lens of Jesus, because you know where I'm coming from. You know where I'm drawing from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you don't know, it's like here today, there tomorrow, this today, that tomorrow. It's like, I'm trying to follow you, but bro, I don't even know what direction you're going in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So it's just.
Yeah. I mean, spot on. I don't have anything to add to that. The answer is no. You can.
I'll tell you one thing. This conversation has gone longer than
someone you don't fully trust. No. The answer is no.
The answer is no.
All right. Lastly. Is it okay to want a break from your spouse sometimes? Just answer that one quick. Is it okay to want a break from your spouse sometimes?
To want a break from your spouse.
Meaning like, I just need a minute without
Hey, is it okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah. To want a space, like, just give me a minute. Just then, Lord, let me just go for this day. Just
I would say yes. I would say that it's okay. The reason why I would say that it's okay, I want to draw from Apostle Paul, who gave a recommendation and said, fast for some time, right? And give each other space based on agreement, right? He was saying that you can separate for some time, but don't take too long so you can come back together again to, you know what I mean? So that's in and of itself where the heart of being okay to want to break from someone comes from. You can take a space to go on a fasting journey. You can take a space to go on a retreat. You can take a space to go for meditation. You can take a space to renew yourself, rejuvenate, rest, reflect on things. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? You can take a space from your spouse, your children, if you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind, sending my wife out on a week-long vacation away from the kids, away from me. You know what I mean? So is it okay? Absolutely. I think it's okay.
Okay.
I think it's okay. Now, when we from that regard, it's okay. Right. If you're talking about you want to separate for some time, you want to leave your spouse for some time.
Right, exactly. That's a different conversation.
No,
that's a different conversation. Nobody's talking about that.
I ain't talking about that.
I'm talking about separation. Let's take a break from this marriage.
Right, because when we were dating, when people date,
yeah, like, they take breaks. I need a break. I just need a break.
And then a week like later, you know what I'm saying? We come back together, and then you know what I mean. But that's a different conversation. If you're talking about separating from your spouse,
yes,
that's a completely different conversation.
That's not what we're talking about.
Taking a break to reflect, to get yourself together, to rejuvenate. Right. That's a completely different conversation. In my opinion, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
All right. I think that's all we have for you today. That's
all right. Hot takes and heart checks.
We'll pick some up.
These questions came from folks who have been listening to us, who have been asking us these questions for some time, some married, some single, and things like that. Mm-hmm. And we want you to send more questions like that. Some in between, right? Some they're not in a relationship, they are in a situationship, right? But whatever the case may be, we believe that, again, we're digging, we're discussing, and we're deploying biblical gems for the building or rebuilding of kingdom homes and relationships. So if we can use Bible to answer some of these questions, it would be our joy and our privilege, of course. So you have more questions like this and you want to send them our way, please send us an email to info@therfnetwork.org. info@therfnetwork.org. That's where you can send us those email. You can also DM us at MDB Podcast, My Darling Bright Podcast,
MDB Podcast on
My
Instagram.
Darling Bright Podcast on Instagram. And you can also write your questions in the comment chat on this particular episode.
We see everything.
This is going to be a monthly thing. At the end of every month, we're going to have hot takes and heart checks. We're going to be answering questions, particularly that people have, and hopefully it's blessing somebody on today. All right. I think that's all we have,
That's all we have. That's all we have.
I hope we've shared a tip or two to help solidify your kingdom union, not only with yourself, but also with others, and most importantly, with God on today.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share with your friends and family, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below.
And until next time, be the light,
be the salt,
and remember, all things are possible if you believe. See you on the next one.